Welcome to emails, the City and Guilds format. Now, this is what you can see it will come up as question 4 on your exam, your online exam. So this is what the format for the emails will look like. It's a little animated, but on the plus side, it's quite nice to access. So we can see the question here, create an email to send to the head teacher, and they've given you the head teacher's address, and they've asked you to CC in the chair of governors, and then there's a few more things they've asked you to do. Attach the meeting agenda, which is saved in folder view, and when you're finished, click send. They're also asking you to add the teachers and the chair of governors details to your address book. When you've done this, click next. Now we're going to do a bit more than this. We're going to look at calendars and contact groups and everything. We're going to go through the whole remit, but we'll use some of this criteria here. So create an email to send to the head teacher. So we're going to open up our emails. We can move this box around so you can actually, some of it does hide behind the other bit, so you can move it around to see the head teacher's details, etc. Now, create an email. My apologies, I was just getting ahead of myself there. So I'm going to create a new email. So what we can do here, just trying to move it around nicely, we can create an email. And I'm wondering if it'll let me move that. Yeah, it will. Excellent. And let me move this around. I had to think for myself. So let's think about emails. Now, this is who we're going to send it to, the recipient. We can see it's the head teacher. We can see we're going to CC in, so carbon copy another person in, the chair of governors. There is no BCC, blind carbon copy. You won't be asked to do that in the exam. Now, the most important thing here is the subject heading. Now, if you try and send an email now, if not now, later on, if you try and send an email without a subject heading, it will ask you, you forgot the subject heading, do you still want to carry on? And if you say yes, you can. But in this instance, in the exam, it won't ask you. So if you forget to put the subject heading in, you'll be deducted a point. Also in the email, we are going to complete a body of text. So our salutations and our body of text will be formal. So salutations, your introduction, and your leaving. So we're going to start this one with, depending who we're writing to. If we don't know their name or gender, it'll just be Dear Sir, Madam. If we do know their name and we know their gender, it could be Dear Mr. Kerwin to myself, but not Hi Nige or Hello Bob. Nothing like that. Let's keep it formal. So the body of text, it would just be, what are you sending the email for? So if you're sending something, let's just have a look. It says attach the meeting agenda. So in here, we're going to write it out in a minute. You could just clearly say, please find attached the meeting agenda as requested. And then you would end it with regards or kind regards, Nigel Kerwin, or something similar. Don't need yours faithfully, yours sincerely, but it still has to be formal and there still has to be some text in there, yeah? So let's have a go at this. Now, I know it's not always the case, but if you're fortunate enough, you may be able to copy and paste this across. If not, you're going to have to write it. So let's just see if this works. The head teacher. I'm going to see if it'll let me copy. No, what a shame. I've seen it let you do it in some things. So I'm just going to put head teacher in. Green Meadow, is it? I'm asking you for help here. Yeah. .school.ed. Apologies.u. So let's make sure we write it properly. So let's check it. Everything's correct. So Chichi, the chair of governors. So chair at Green Meadow. I'm just going to check that all. We should put my glasses on. That looks okay. So the subject heading, make it appropriate. Now, usually the tip is in the question. So let's just, not make it too long-winded. Let's just make it short and concise. So I can see here it says meeting agenda. Excellent. So we're going to attach the meeting agenda, which is saved in the folder view. So if I just move this up slightly, I can see we have our paperclip, which you do have on your realistic emails back home. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to go to, there may be many folders, but we'll have a look at the appropriate one. And I know it's the meeting agenda. So it's neither of these, it's the meeting agenda. I'm going to click on that and select. I can see the attachment is there now. So all I need to do now is write the email, which is saved in there. Excellent. Now I don't know their name, so I could put yes, madam. If I knew their gender, I could put that in as, I could just put dear sir or madam. Oops, bit of typo there. Please find attached meeting agenda. We just need something short and sweet, but is formal. So regards, Nigel. That is it for the email. We don't have to, it's not a GCSE exam where we've got to infer meaning or write a paragraph or anything. It's just short and sweet, but it is still formal. So please adhere to this. So once that's all done, is say when you're finished, you click send. And your email is sent. So we can close the box. Now we can move on to the other part of the question. So when you finish, click send. Add the teacher and the chair of governors address to the address book. So I'm going to open up the email again. Let's move this down slightly out of the way. And I'm going to open up the address book. Now I can see I can add contacts and I can add groups. So I'm going to add a contact first. And I'm going to enter their name. Now, we don't have a name for the head teacher, but we could put a teacher. We can decipher some of the some of the information from the email address. Now, there won't be a telephone and there won't be a web address. I have not seen a telephone or a web address pop up in the exam yet. If it does, please enter it in, but I have not seen it pop up. However, the email is there. It is head teacher. BU. So the job, yes, we can infer that and put that in, and you may be writing things out again. Name head teacher, job head teacher. I'm going to tell you why we put this in a minute. The company is Green Meadow School, so we can, like I say, decipher some of this from the email. So there we go, we've got the head teacher in. So they want you to add the other one in, the chair of governors. Now if I just add them in, I want to show you what I mean. So if I don't put a name in, like chair, I'm not going to put that in, I'm just going to put their email in, and I'll show you why. Cool. So the job is the chair, and their company is Green Meadow. So when I now, apologies for the M, right, so when I now say OK to this, you can see that no name comes up. Even though you think head teacher, is that really a name? It's better than nothing. It's something that you can identify. Now with this one, I would have to click in this and edit it to see who I was talking about. So it is better to put name in. Okay, so then everything's more clear. So this is adding contacts. Now you may be asked to add a group. So to add a group, if they don't tell you what the group name is, you've got to make something up, but just make sure it's pertinent to the exam or the question. So I can see this, I would put them both in a group. That would be Green Meadow School, maybe. Both belong to that organisation. So now I'm going to click on this and send it across. So it's inside here. Then we say OK, and this all is collated. Now what they will ask you to do once you've added the chair and governors, when you've done this, click next. So in this case, okay, once you've done it, they're just asking you to click next, but I have seen it where they do want you to take a print screen of this, and if they do, they normally say to you, come back to this page, click on the group and then edit it, and then it shows you who's inside. So you would take a print screen of this. Once that's done, you can say okay. So all the print screens, don't forget, we are going to put them onto a Word document that is given to you in the exam, and you're going to save that to your folder which you've created at the beginning of this exam, and name all files and folders appropriately, but we're going to talk about them later. So I'm going to say okay to this. I'm going to say okay to this. So at this point, what I'm going to do is look at calendars. Now this may pop up as well. So if they ask you to add some calendar information, then we're just going to click on calendar. We're going to come down to new event. And what they ask you to do will be one of these three things. They may not specifically ask you about a new meeting or a new task, but you'll be able to decipher from the question. So we're just going to go for new appointment and events. I'm going to say next. And this information will all be given to you. We won't do anything here. I've not seen any of this information be asked. However, all this information which is pertinent to the meeting will be made available. So the subject, let's make this up. Let's call it a meeting agenda. And the location, we're going to say Bedford College. And the time, let's change the time to something else. We're going to say it's from 1 till 2 o'clock, long old meeting. It's on the 28th of April. And there may be some notes. Bring your own lunch. Why not? I'm not going to buy you any lunch. So this is all done. Once this is done, you will confirm it. And you can come out of all of this. And then it may say, go back into the calendar and I want a print screen of what you've put in the calendar. So we can come to the email, go to calendar, and then I'm going to scroll down to the time. It's about 1 o'clock, was it? Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to get this in view and I'm going to take a print screen of this, save it onto the document that's been given to me. I'm going to save that into my folder and then I may have to upload that later, but we'll go through the uploading process in a bit. That's, I was going to say is everything, but I've just checked my list. I've got one more thing to do. So what they may do as well in your exam is ask you to add a folder and put some files into the folder. So if they do ask you to do this, then we're going to look at folder management. We are going to add a new folder and we'll call this one meetings. I'll give you the topic, what to put in there, the heading and everything. So I'm going to call this one meetings. I'm going to say OK, and I can see meetings has come up. Now they may say to you, go to the inbox and move all the meetings across to here. So I don't have any meetings in here, but we'll call staff social meeting just to show you how it's done. And I'm going to put it inside there. Oops, went inside the wrong one. There we go. Cool. That took me a bit of time, didn't it? So if I click in meetings, I can see we've got meetings open and I can see I've taken the correct email across. That is all it's going to ask you for emails. Yes, it's a bit animated, but in saying that, it's accessible. I've gone through everything that it possibly could ask you. What I suggest is when you do the mocks, answer the questions, and before you send them back to me for marking, I would do everything else. Why not have a go at calendars, even if it didn't ask you to do it for the mocks, contact groups, etc., just so you know you can do it. Okay, see you in the next video. Thank you very much.